Okay, so welcome everyone to first walkthrough for the season 15. First track will be Silverstone, and we'll do like usual, like we did previous season. And for those of you, so what we do, we are going to watch the live from inside. After that, we'll go from the outside so you could have a better understanding of the line, and then I'll go corner to corner. I have a breaking point, breaking reference for you, acceleration, or any tip that could help in any of the corner. So for this lap will be, the time is 1:56.7. So we'll go through. You'll be able to hopefully get some tip, some trick that will make you be able to get a second, half a second, whatever it's your level, but hopefully it's gonna be at full for you. So we could always go faster. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So let's go to the lab from the inside and take a close look at the input. So steering input. Yeah, we are going to be able to use braking reference and acceleration and stuff that will apply. And what's my driving style for the Porsche, I will tell you in that those things could be specific to for the Porsche and not for the rookie car or other cars, because the Porsche is different because the position of the motor. So, but steering input, throttle, brake, there's a little thing about the throttle you will see during the corner. I might keep 10, 20% of throttle. That just mean the port driving style that it just stabilize the rear. So whatever that happen in other car, it will be coasting. So just full lift and just let the car go. No brake, no throttle. So keep in mind that. But steering, brake, all of those things could help in any car. So let's go. And I forgot to mention this lap was made in hot lap mode with air temperature was 20 degree. Just to mention it was not on the qualification server. So now let's take a look from the outside and now be just look at the line where I'm gonna position the car for braking, turning, and get it. Right. So here you can see the time, so I'm not lying. It's not like the cheating. Just want to make sure with all the cheating that is happening right now, the cheating discussion. So, I do, not sure. I use a you'll see in turn one that that's the same. That's the lap from the picture that I post. Like I'm millimeter off getting a invalid lap on turn one. Uh, for track limit for this one, it will be the curve, the red and black, uh, black and white curves, but not going to invalidate. Just seat time, I guess. It's really easy to get a red lap in Silverstone, especially in turn one and Stowe. You could really invalidate in your lap easily there if you get through soon on throttle. Does that answer your question? Oh, uh, no, not really. This one, I'm, I'm aware on the first one, it's an easy one. There's one place that if you cut a bit too much, I'll get it in Abbey. That if you cut too much on the right on the entry, you could have an invalid there, but you'll be on the edge of the grass. So they are pretty obvious, I think, for this one. So let's go for turn one. So braking point for this one will be just before the 50-meter board that we have on your left. It is, I think it's a destructible, but I never see it destroying a race. Really rare that I guess it will be destroyed. So you have those. You have the. You should do it on practice, so we could practices. Yeah, if there you have the flag on the right. You can go check. And for this one, it's just a so from the outside, yeah, more on the inside. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so you just and another thing like the breaking point that I'm using the Porsche might be different, will be different from car to car, and it could also be different if you I'm playing in VR and I'm playing inside the car. But if you're playing from another view or another field of view, those things that you see on my screen might not be at the same place for you, even if you are in the same car. So just be aware of that. There are breaking a reference, so just experiment with this. So for this one, the first corner, it's just a tap of the brake. So you just really tapping on the brake. Some car will downshift, like I'm downshifting to 4. It's possible to do it. It's still in 5. For this one, you'll need to try a couple things uh, on your own car. So, but it will be you cannot do it this flat. it's not just a lift, it need to be a tap on the brake. So let's go in it quick, slowly. So I'm going to tap on the brake, release it when I start to turn, then I coast. This, you see, like I have like 20, maybe a little bit more throttle on it, but in the other car when I was driving the McLaren, it was just coasting here. And when you get to the green stuff, you get back on the throttle around the green stuff that you see on the. Here I lift a little bit because I feel that I was going a bit too quick, and that will have invalidated, and I was right because I could go outside from here, and that was the picture that I sent on the Discord. Still need to get closer to this someplace. Yeah, the rear tire. So I don't think you need to have at least one tire, because if I go a tiny bit more, my rear tire is not even on the curve anymore, and the front tire, it's not even touching because of the camber, but it is over, so the game looked like over it, but it's not physically touching it. So this is more than limit. Like, I will never try this in the race. I was just in the odd lap. So this was an odd lap more. I was just pushing to get a good lap. So yeah, but this is just like millimeter. If I'm a little bit, tiny bit on the left, it will be an invalidated lap. So just keep that in mind. So let's go one more time from the outside, and we'll go full speed for this one, and look at the brake. So it will be like a really quick tap on the brake. For me, I was full brake, full power, but other people might tap only like 80%, and it will be fine. So it could depend on the car and your driving style. So don't feel that you need to go full. Sometimes if you do it a bit, you brake a little bit earlier than me, you might not need to get full tap. Just go to 80%, coast a little bit more, and it will be as fast. So there's more than one way. This is just the only way to do it. So now we'll continue to Maggot, Beckett, and Chapel. I like to see those corner like it's not just one corner, it's just a complex. So you need to be careful on those, because if you miss the first one, you're gonna miss the next one and the exit of Chapel. So just take that as the whole section and try to, because it is just so fast, you're just going left and right. So let's go slowly from the inside first. So getting to Maggot, so I want to cut as much as possible on the left before entering it. So I want to go, you could go on the red stuff. It's not a sausage curve, it's still flat. Oh, too fast. It's not like the other red thing that when you're inside the car it looked like a sausage, but it's flat, so it's fine. If you put a tire on the red, you're not gonna have the big bump like other players that we have in other track. So you could use it. And then for this, most of the car, you don't even need. There's two ways you could do it: lift, just the lift, or a tiny tap of the brake, and will only be maybe 15%. It's even quicker than turn one. So what I did here is just the lift for me. So I'll keep the car straight, I'll lift, then I keep a little bit of throttle because it's the Porsche, and I cut on the green. So you could go easily cut on the green extra turf that you have, concrete over there, and those red line are not that aggressive for this. They are just painting, so it's not a sausage row or anything. It's not unbalance you. So you could use a lot of the track here and use it. So every time you will see, if you attempt more than one of my walkthrough, every time there's a fast corner like this going right and another one right after that going left, or you have a chicane, or example Suzuka, that were first section of Suzuka, I'm gonna compromise the first exit. I want to have the last one. I want to have a good exit on the last one for the straight, because there's not a lot of track between this turn and the other, so you don't want to go on the left from the exit of this one. You want to stay in the middle or mostly on the right to get a good enter on Beckett. And then same thing for the exit of Beckett. You're gonna stay in the middle, and then you're gonna have a good exit of Chapel because you have the big Ongar straight, and that's where you want to have the best exit to gain the most time. So that's why we compromise those fast corner. So look carefully. So I'm gonna cut as much as possible. Stay like middle of the track, try to bring the car back in the middle. Then tap the brake again, downshift one gear for Beckett. And again here, you want to cut on the green stuff, same thing as the first one, a maggot. And you try to not go too much right, like I said. You want to keep the car in the middle here as much as possible. Another tiny tap of the brake, downshift for Chapel, and you want to go on this one. So you want to go on the green stuff here, and let's go from the outside second. So you have those three here, and those three red square. The middle one is pretty much where you want to be back full throttle to get a good exit and use the straight to gain as much time as possible. So just look at it from this. I'm gonna get to there. I'm back on full throttle when I get to the second one. So let's go a tiny bit. You're n- you're not muted. And that will so you won't cut that part when I put it on YouTube. It's fine. Yeah. All right. Let's look it from inside. Let's go slowly. When I get to the second one, back full throttle, and I will stay full throttle until stop. See, I have a correction there. I was just feeling that the rear of the car was. That's one thing that, as you practice, you'll just develop it. Like, I was just feeling that the rear of the car was starting to let go, so I just react to it and did this correction. So it happened really fast if you look at it. Full throttle, but let's watch this section back, full throttle, at full speed, and just try, when you're gonna practice, just try to think as one corner for this one. It's just one enchainment, left, right, lift, tap, don't shift, let it go, brake, don't shift, and full throttle. Yeah, you don't think about it, you just react. It's just like a reflex. I don't think to correct the car there, it just happened. I don't know why it happened, but it happened. So if you have, oh yeah, I cut it. I think I cut it. Let's go with, yeah, 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 you could go a bit more than that. If you ends up being on the green, it will be fine. It's nothing there to unsettle the car, so should be fine cutting it even a bit more than that. But as I said, concentrate on the chapel exit. for the next corner, this one before the straight, that's where you're gonna gain the most time. If you do a poor exit here, you got probably lost like 0.3, 0.5 seconds easily on the straight, just because you have. Yeah, watch rear replay. That's the best way to learn. So you're gonna see if you are not using all the right or you're using too much. And this section is really complex. It's so fast. So you just like timing. You go lift, tap the brake, downshift, tap the brake, downshift, and then full throttle. It happened like it only take a couple seconds to do this section over here, but it's so fast. But yeah, I guess Maggot is the first two or one have no name something. But yeah, it's a section. First corner cups with this enchantment could make you lose a lot of time or gain a lot of time. So just be careful. Concentrate on your exits. That's where you're gonna gain the most time at the beginning. Oh, yeah. So now we have the straight that we could relax a tiny bit. First section. Then we got to still. That's pretty tricky corner for the grip. It's easily to lose the rear. I feel that on the corner exit here. You're going uphill and then it turn going back a little bit up downhill, so it's really easy to upset. And you might find that right where we have a breaking point here, so breaking point will be just before the curve that we have here. So I'm using the curve as a reference, but there's a big bump. And I remember when I start this, I was in the Ferrari, and that bump sometime was spinning me. So if it happened that it unsettled the car for you, you could try to be a little bit more on the right to not get the bump, because it's right around, like right in front of my car. Uh, so it could be one that will be tricky. So if you feel it, you probably will. So you could still move a bit on the right and it will still be fine to do the corner as fast. So let's go it slowly. So breaking point, like I said, the curve that we have on the left. It's gonna brake hard, trying to turn at the same time. Then I'm gonna release and coast again. So this in the other car will just be coasting. I'm just playing a tiny bit with the throttle for the port, but and let's go back just a tiny bit. So I don't know if it's hard to say. But when I'm driving there, I think it's this patch of ground. We'll go back inside. So I'm using, yeah. So it's really quick. I don't know how good you could see the lighter patch of ground, like right beside on the left of the wiper. There's a patch of ground that it's lighter there. It's more like ground, not grass. That's what I'm using for when I'm going back on throttle. So at this point, I know I could be back full throttle and be fine, not getting too wide on the exit. So just go back slowly. So I see it, back full throttle, and I will stay full throttle until the chicane. So you just want to unwind the wheel, let the car go. You're gonna use the whole track that you have. You could go on the white and black curves. You want to use it, just don't go over it. That's a track limit. So I still have a tire on it. That's perfectly fine here. Let's go. Still tucked in. I didn't think I was that close to it, but that's still fine. So if you exit the corner and you like here, that probably means that you get on throttle too late. That's you didn't carry enough speed, so you could be. It's one thing. If you exit here, you went on throttle too early. So that's one way when you check your replay. Yeah, I wasn't up here. I was probably on too early. You could check where you get. So if you just need to check those. Any question for Sto? Yeah, you could ask anytime. Don't mind if you cut me, it's fine. I prefer that you ask question. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to like check from the outside, from the top view. You'll see it better. So I'm gonna. You'll see how I'm gonna. It will be a tiny bit like a V, but not as much as, for example, maybe the airplane at Nürburgring that you're going like a big V. This one will be like tiny, so I'll get not too close at the beginning, and then I'm gonna cut back, and when I get back to that lighter patch of ground, that's where I'm gonna get back on throttle, but you'll be able to see it better this way. Yeah, so as you can see here, that will be the most like inside the curve I will be. If you take a look from the beginning, like it's gradual, so I'm getting back, and then gonna get less. We're after the apex, so I'm not hugging, like trying to stay like, there's small U like we're doing here. So for the chicane here, same thing as though I'm using the curve, black and white curve that we have here, and braking in a straight line a little bit before I'm getting to the curve. So that's going slowly, and you'll see what I mean. So over down the brake. Yeah, you try to maximize your brake. If you straight into a straight line, you're asking less on the car. If you try to brake while turning, we do it sometimes. That's how we do. But here we have to slow down the car a lot. So straight line. I'm gonna trail brake a bit. And you want to this one, like turn one, I said it was flat. This one is not flat. This is a real sausage here. So, and it's big. Don't hit it. You want to go close, but be careful to not jump it because you're going to lose a bunch of time, because the next exit, since we have the Hamilton straight after that, because after the next corner of this chicane, we're still doing club flat. So it's pretty big part that we are going to be full throttle. So if you miss it here, you're going to miss the exit of the next one and then cost you a lot of time. So go close. If you're not comfortable, you don't need to go as close that I went just there. I even touch it a bit. Like, I think I jump it, not jump it, but yeah, I nip the side. As long as you don't not touch it and your tire on the white and black curve, you should be fine to have a good line here and still carry a lot of speed. So like I said before, for all the first sector, when we have fast left and right. I'm gonna exit this one, maybe middle of the track, and I'm gonna short shift in the second for the next corner because I want to help me for rotation and prevent a little bit of tire spin, so I could get back full throttle like middle of this corner and until I get to Abbey. Let's go slowly. Then I'm going back full throttle. I'm gonna short shift, lift, then back full throttle. In this section here, I'm a bit other car. When I was driving the McLaren, I was not comfortable to get that far left on here because there's a lot. Feel that there's a lot less grip in certain car like Ferrari and McLaren that was driving. Like I was probably gonna exit a bit more right than this right now, but the Porsche seems to be fine when I'm full throttle. I was not losing the rear, but this is the part that you could lose the rear pretty easily here. So just be really careful, not get too much. And if you go on the curb, there's a good chance that you're gonna lose the rear. And then you're full throttle and you already prepare for the next corner. So see, I still turning. I just want to keep the arc. So I want to get as slow as possible at that success curve without touching it. And then unwind the wheel, and here we could use the black and white for track limit. Not even close. I don't need to go more than that. You don't need to exit it, but it's there if you need it. Sometimes you could get a bit too fast on the corner. You could use it. It is. All right. Take a look at that slow speed just so you could see the line better. So let's get to yeah, this one is Abbey. Oh yeah. So for this one, pretty fast corner. So you have two choice. You could some car will like to do the sorry the downshift or just a lift. So you'll need to do some testing on it with your car or your setup. If you, for me, in the Porsche, I'm just doing a tiny lift, stand 5, and then back full throttle when I get to the apex. Other car, I think in the McLaren I was downshifting, like I don't think I was touching the brake. I think I just did the downshift or something. I lift and did the downshift, quick downshift. So both are correct. Just depend on their driving style. Some people will. Right now, I have compared my lap with other and Motec, and I lift pretty late, but I'm also a bit late on the throttle. That's just my driving style. I tend to brake later, but I'm a bit late on the throttle. But let's take a look from a little bit behind, just full speed, and just take a look at the throttle. So it will just be a quick lift, turn, back on throttle to get the weight back on the car, so you have the grip on the rear to not lose the rear when you get out of the corner. So again, like you saw for the exit of the farm, is two corners that are really close, really fast, so I didn't go as much right. Let's go just back. I still like middle of the track here. So you could use the green stuff here. You could cut it. Those are just the paint square. Those are not the sausage, so you could cut it on it. Be careful if you touch the grass here, it might be a track cut. I see some of it, so it's pretty close. So just be careful for this one. You want to cut it, and then you're gonna be back full throttle when you get at the end of the green stuff around. So you're gonna exit because it's so fast, and next corner is fine. So you're gonna go left and use this part of the track, and you want to stay like around here. You don't need to go back to the right. You're just starting to turn. Get your tire on the curb, and we'll have grip the front, and we have plenty of space for the next one. So don't need to go as much right as you think. Then just let the car go. You're gonna drift out a little bit like middle of the track. It's fine. You have not a lot of time, but you have the time to get back the car to the left. And my braking reference here will be again the curve that we have here. So I'm trying to put the car, just go back a tiny bit. So I want to bring it back as much as possible to the left, and I want to try to straighten up the car to get on the brake here. So I'm already starting to be on the brake, but as you can see, I will try to straighten up the car as much as possible, like here. Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to get uh, really. Even if you go right, you can still make it. But if you're in a race, you'll need to be careful because there'll be probably car on your left, so you don't want to brake and go left because it will be like moving on a brake. Just be careful on that because they will probably be there. If you get too much on the right, you probably miss something. You're gonna lift a tiny bit, and the other car behind, if you did it right, will not have to lift. Will have more speed. So just be careful of that. So braking and then starting turn again. Then I'm gonna release. Still turning and braking full power, but then I release it. So you want to go as close as possible for the red one again, like we did before. And you're gonna exit. When you get to the middle of this corner, it's the apex. That's up around where you want to be full throttle. If you go to your replay and you only full throttle like here, that's losing time. You should be full throttle like when you're somewhere around here. And like this one, since they are, we'll just go this way. You'll see. I'm not gonna try to use all the track on the left, just middle. Try to get back on the right bit. And this one I'm only doing it by feel when to break it, but I think the curve on the left that some people use. We'll see. Yeah, you have the grass on the left. You have the curve on the right. Beginning of this that you could use. You could use that when you start to not seeing the green stuff. There, you could. What's worked the best for you? What for me right now? Honestly, I'm just doing it by feel. So again, don't need to use all the track on the right, but use as much as possible, because if you go during a race, if you go like full right here, if you have a car behind, it will think you open the door, and just be prepared because it's gonna dive in the inside. So be careful that on this one is a corner that easy to open the door. So if someone see the door open, it's racing, they're gonna take it. So just be careful of that. Yeah. Mhm. There's a good one for this one. There's those two stretch. That's where you want to be back on throttle. So you're gonna get to your back here, and this is where you want to be full throttle. And it's easy to see on the inside. So let's go slowly. Maybe you never see it, but it's not that hard to see it from the inside. So you'll see that up here. If you go close enough, see, maybe it's not that bad. Usually I see it when I drive. I just see the scratch on the red. If you cut, I didn't cut that much here. Yeah, yeah, but they're right at the right spot. So where you want to be back full throttle. So if you go, I'm probably, yeah, I'm back full throttle here. That's where I'm starting to accelerate it. So then you could use your exit. You could use a bit of the track here. Fine, you don't need to go too wide. And then this one will be flat. You could cut it a bit. It's fine. It's not the big sausage. Use your exit. So now I'm into Brooklyn. So the board is a really good one, but it's a board. It could be destroyed. So another good one that people like to use it will be the building on the right, big building, or the orange. So I'm braking a tiny bit before the board. Let's go just slowly and find it. Here, it's just a tiny bit before the board. It's pretty late. It's a bit after the building, so you always have those to help. Because, like I said, those boards could be destroyed anytime. So here, you want to start the brake and you want to start turning the car because you want to. You'll see. So braking, still turning the car a bit, but not much, a bit. Then I'm gonna release, cut on the curb, like a tiny V or U, and then cut on the green. You could use the green here to get back, and we'll be fine. There's nothing there that could unsettle the car. Don't try to exit too wide. If you go too much on the right here, you're gonna compromise too much of the last corner, second to last, and then you will have a poor exit for the straight until the turn one. So don't try to go too much. You go like here, like I do. Maybe a car with still available on the right. That's good enough. And you just stay there. You don't try to go left. You're just gonna get too long here. And for this corner that you'll, let's check it from the outside first, you'll see what I mean. So it's almost like a double apex. You want to enter here, and then you let the car go. I'm on throttle here because the Porsche, but let the car go wide a bit, like a car and a half. Then you're gonna turn more, and that's where you're gonna be full throttle, back full throttle. So if you go back to your replay, you'll see those red square that they have there. When you get past the one on the bottom of the screen, between this one and the second one, that's where you want to be back on throttle. If you're getting on throttle and you pass the last one, that's too late. So this is, if we go back just a tiny bit, like when I'm getting to this one, yeah, I'll just letting go wide, and then you will see I will cut back on the curve. Then I'm going back on throttle, and I'll already turn the car and we'll touch back a bit. Not much here, but we'll take a look from the inside after, and then you use the track on the exit. You could go, as long as your tires stay on the black and white, should be good. So let's check this two corner from the inside slowly. Come in, gonna brake hard, try to turn the car a bit before braking. Then I release to get the grip back on the front. Try to cut as much as possible on this curve, so I don't have to go too much on the right. Then again, back full throttle here. And then here, touches the brake, release it, and then I coast. Let it go wide a little bit. You see that kill turning, and then back full throttle and starting to straighten up the wheel. Corner is almost done. Then that will be your lap. You have one more corner. This corner will be flat. It's not a big corner, but just be careful. I think if you cross the white line here with your tire on the left, it will be a track cut. So it's easy to get a track cut here, and you're not gonna gain time by cutting that much. So just be careful. Just don't go too much on this one just to invalidate the lap for nothing. So you're not gonna gain a bunch of time. So you could put your left wheel, but don't put your you could put your right wheel, don't put the left one on it. And that was the lap. Yes, any question on any corner of the track that you would like me to go back, or if something else you want to see or ask? Hmm. So are you talking about, so is it, I think it's the village and the loop, huh, right? Like this. I think when you yeah, if you cut too much there, yeah, because the sector is divided there, so if you cut it, you're gonna lose a lap. Yeah, you didn't cross sector line that is on the track, and if you're on the grass, you just don't pass on it. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I turned a bit before. Yeah, you could break up really. You could break late. 48. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, that's just how the Porsche work. If you are driving a front engine, you're gonna have more on the front. That's just how it is. Yeah. I find it easier to remember when there's name than number. Like you could tell me name on Silverstone, I will, but you tell in number beforehand. I just don't know where that was. So turn one for cups is a little bit before the 50-meter boards or third or second flag on the right. You have the GT World Championship. So I'm just gonna do a tab. So I'm gonna play all this section uh, one more time, full speed. Just, so see, it'll be a quick tap on the brake and coast and back full throttle. And for next one, just a lift. So you do the first one, do a lift, back full throttle, tap of the brake, turn, tap. Since it's so fast and you have like left and right all the time, I don't think of a breaking point on those. It's just like a rhythm. You're going tap, tap, throttle. It's just so fast. Yeah, I think so. Maybe you have to lift a bit more, but if you have a lot of fuel, you might get to the corner slower. You still have a couple kilometers less, so it, it should be similar. Yeah, you could do a tiny bit of braking. You could tap the brakes. It should be perfectly fine. There's other cars that need to do a tap of the brake. If you are not like full brake on it, if you only tap like I don't know maybe 40-50%, should be fine. But it will be even quicker than turn one. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, just try it. It's just a sim. So if you crash the car, you just reset. It's not real life. So try it just a lift. You'll see if you could do it. I mean, you should see my first lap when I start to practice a new track. I'm always in the wall. Just keep resetting. That's why a lot of time I'm using outlap. I know pretty much all the track, but this only the second season I'm driving the Porsche. So when I get to a track that I didn't drive with the Porsche, usually I'm just going outlap, set the temperature so I could just reset faster for just it's just faster for me to get the tire up to 10, so I don't have to do a couple laps to bring the tire up. So I'm just resetting all the time. Yeah. Yeah, I think most car will still do a lift or a tiny bit for maggot. Even the front engine will not matter. Still need. if you do the corner correctly, yeah. Yes. Yeah, we'll go for it. You want to start from here? Yeah. Yeah, if you are in game and you look at the track map in game, you'll see the bar that crossing the line. So make sure to cross it. If you go off track there, you'll see where the sector divide. So quick lift, full throttle to get a weight on the bag. Then use the curb as a braking reference. Stay in the middle. And back full throttle. We could take a look slower from here. It's a really complex like, set of corner here. It's easy to lose time. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. If you have any question, like if we when we start this, if you have any question, feel free to DM me. Not a lot of time on hours of practice because I'm practicing for other league too. But if I'm not there, just send me a DM if you need. I will be happy to help. If I'm out of practice, I'm just ask question. I'm here to help.